The story begins as an old sage is getting drunk because he's on the verge of death. A mysterious man arrives and offers to refine his spirit into an ink brush. The old sage jumps at the chance, taking a drink from the man's gourd and writing a poem before becoming a brush. The mysterious man tries to capture the green lotus ink brush, but it rejects him and takes off. Sometime later, we meet Luo. He is bored out of his mind in his Chinese ancient civilization class at school when he gets called on to answer a question. Luo's answer is so wrong that everyone laughs and the teacher's pet jumps in to answer correctly. This is the ultimate teacher's pet as he insists that Luo apologize to the instructor. Luo refuses aggressively, knocking the teacher's cup off his desk and causing everyone to panic. Our boy has reflexes like Spider-Man though and catches the cup. Luo wonders who the real fool is now but instantly embarrasses himself when he breaks the teacher's ink brush. Luo is in big trouble as this is the teacher's favorite brush and he is taken to the principal's office. On the way there, we learn that the teacher's pet is named Shang, and Luo hates him because he's the kind of guy who likes to build himself up by taking other people down. At the principal's office, Shang apologizes for things getting out of hand since he's the class monitor, but the principal completely understands. Things are completely different for Luo though, as the principal absolutely grills him and tells Luo that he should just pack his things and go home. The teacher then points out how unique and special his pineapple ink brush is, but Luo only wonders if he's going to have to pay for it. The teacher goes into the intricate details of what made it so valuable, but Luo nearly falls asleep and wishes that the old man would just give him a number for how much it will cost him. The teacher's name is Mr. Shu, and he shocks everyone when he tells Luo that he just has to find him the exact same brush and they will be even. The principal can't believe it, but Mr. Zhu explains that a great teacher teaches, not punishes. He says that ink brushes have 4 virtues, so Luo will learn a lot by finding a replacement. Mr. Zhu will get his brush, and Luo will learn stuff, so it's a win-win. Having to find a pen is better than getting kicked out of school, so Luo agrees to do it. He would soon regret this decision though, as he has gone to 10 different flea markets without finding a single pineapple brush. Luo begins to wonder if Mr. Zhu did it on purpose. Put him through the torture of having to look for the brush only to kick him out of school when he couldn't find it. Luo manages to find a guy selling brushes, but they are all junk. The pushy salesman tries to stop him from leaving, but Luo has spotted Zhang and goes after him. Luo spies on Zhang as he talks to his uncle Zhao. Zhao tells him that he doesn't have a pineapple brush in his shop, but he has sent his men to go look for one. Luo is furious at Zhang but is ready to do what he has to do. Just then, Zhao reveals that the brush has been found at a thrift shop in a different city. They decide to have lunch before they go get it, but this only buys our boy some time, and he takes off to get the brush. Luo arrives at the shop and instantly falls in love with the girl there. He tries to compliment the amazing things they sell there, but the girl's all business and explains that her grandfather owns the shop. Luo asks to see the pineapple brush and is ecstatic to see that they actually have it. She tells him not to touch it and explains that they have to wait till her grandfather puts a price on it before he can buy it. She lets Luo touch the box though, and he can't understand why it's so cold. Just then a well-dressed man named Suge arrives and asks to speak with Mr. Y. The girl is very cold to this guy, telling him to leave as he is not welcome there. This jerk snatches the brush from her hand, calls it cheap, and tosses it. Our boy shows off his Superman reflexes again and catches it. The man becomes really upset as he tells the girl that she knows what he is there for. This psycho demands that she get it and says that he has no problem hitting women. Luo stands up for the girl he just fell in love with, but this guy uses some kind of force to push them back. Huge takes what he is after and tells the girl named Rong to say hello to her grandfather for him. Rong steps forward, telling Luo to stay back and uses an ability to attack the man with snow. Huge isn't afraid of a few snowflakes, but Rong covers him with even more snow. Huge is then shocked as Rong summons a snowstorm ink brush and hits him with some snowballs in the face. Huge is tired of playing games and summons his Cloud Rider ink brush. The two battle it out and Luo wonders if he is going crazy. Huge points out that she isn't the only one with a spirit brush and warns her that she won't survive his next attack. Rong simply tells him to leave the brush he stole, but he says it would have to be over his dead body. Rong attacks him, but this just causes the brush he stole to go flying out of his package and straight into Luo's chest. Everyone is shocked, and we see that something has completely changed in Luo. Huge tries to attack him, but he can't match Luo's new speed. Huge tries to use an ability, but Luo somehow easily stops it. Rong jumps in to land an attack, but Huge instantly counters. Our boy has leveled up big time though and quickly stops that as well. Huge disappears, so Rong asks Luo if he is okay, but he isn't and he passes out. When Luo wakes up, he finds himself in a strange place wearing strange clothes. He thinks it's really quite beautiful, but that doesn't last long as he is knocked off the boat. He wakes up from the dream and takes a nice big whiff of some pink fabric. The shop owner, Mr. Y, welcomes him and formally introduces his seemingly annoyed granddaughter. Mr. Y explains that Luo was such a feeble weakling that the cold from the artifacts in his shop knocked him out. Luo's vitals are fine, but he remembers that Rong was fighting with snowflakes and snowstorm. Also, an ink brush went through his chest, so that is the real reason he was knocked out, not because he is feeble. Mr. Y has a good laugh and simply explains that Luo was just hallucinating like a crazy person. This clever old man changes the subject by embarrassing our boy for hallucinating about Rong and reminding him that he is there to shop. Luo asks about the pineapple pen, but is absolutely shocked when Mr. Y reveals that he just sold it to a guy named Zhang. Luo begins to leave completely defeated, but Mr. Y acknowledges that he is responsible for the accident and offers to give him another ink brush to make amends. Mr. Y explains that this ink brush is far more valuable than the one he wanted, and Luo begins to wonder if he really was hallucinating. Elsewhere, we see that some red dress-wearing lady is on a tour and sneaks off to a restricted area in search of something. A man catches her and explains that she is not allowed in the private house, but she just says that she was looking for a bathroom. This guy doesn't even know who lives there, as he is just an employee. He gives her a map and tells her to leave, but she takes a selfie with the front gate before she goes. Back with Luo, he really begins to think he was hallucinating, especially since if a brush really went through his chest, then he wouldn't be alive right now. He gets startled by a guy who is on the toilet and leaves us to get super depressed about not getting the pineapple ink brush. However, he remembers that what his teacher wanted most was for him to learn something. On top of that, he has an even better brush now, so there is still a chance he won't get punished. He goes to visit Mr. Ju and considers adding a sad twist to his ink brush story to get some sympathy. There, he runs into Zhang and worries that he might mess everything up. Zhang gives the pineapple pen he bought to Mr. Ju, and he is very impressed. This jerk tells Luo to take notes on how to be an exceptional student, and Zhang prepares to listen to Luo's excuse for not bringing a brush. Luo has a good laugh and reveals that he actually did bring one. You think that the brush isn't very special, but he is absolutely stunned when he notices something about the brush Luo bought. Ju excitedly gives it a try and is amazed by everything about it, so Luo has a good laugh at Zhang's expense. Zhang then states the 4 virtues of an ink brush, which are neat, sharp, plump, and durable. Luo laughs at him as these are just simple words, and he gives a more in-depth explanation of the virtue. Mr. Ju is impressed by Luo, and Luo can't even understand how he was able to know these things. Mr. Ju explains that the ink brush that Luo brought him is more than the 4 virtues. He brings up some old poems about how while some fight with swords, others can fight with a pen as sharp as a sword. Luo is somehow able to complete the poem, and he wonders if he was just hallucinating again. All in all, Mr. Ju is very happy with the pen and with how much Luo has learned. That night, Luo does some gaming at an internet cafe. He receives a message stating that he shouldn't waste his talents, and he can't believe that he can read ancient writing. Just then, some drunks arrive to harass a cafe owner named Yan. One of the guys is upset that Yan is talking to his girl, so the entire gang is ready to teach him a lesson. Unfortunately for them, Yan has some sweet fighting moves and has no fear at all. Luo jumps in since Yan is so outnumbered, and Yan is a bit surprised to see that Luo is a better friend than he thought. They haven't known each other for long, but Luo points out that Yan helped him get more credits the other day so he could keep gaming. The two are severely outnumbered, so Luo ends up in a bad spot, but a power surges from his body. Luo is somehow able to teleport into the air, and even scares himself as he has no clue what is happening to him. The drunk bunch of idiots try to just go after Yan, but Luo instantly descends from the ceiling to rain punches on all of them. The guys run out of there, and Yang can't believe that Luo has been hiding his Superman fighting skills this entire time. Yan would like to talk about some things, but Luo is exhausted and needs to rest. Luo is certain now that he wasn't hallucinating. He becomes excited since he can somehow read ancient characters and unleash insane combat power. He can't believe this is something that is actually happening in real life and decides to call himself the Inkbrush Ranger. He actually thinks he should try to pick a better name, but falls asleep instead. Luo wakes up to hear a strange man reciting a poem. He gets freaked out by this old dude but really wakes up this time. He heads home and decides that he needs to go back to the thrift shop to get some answers. Just then, he hears something calling his name and finds that it's some kind of strange monster. Luo does his best to get away, but this thing catches up to him. He calms himself down to remind himself that he has superpowers, but they don't work, and Luo begins to wonder if this will be the end of his life. Elsewhere, we get a quick look as the red-dressed woman breaks into the place she was kicked out of. Back with Luo, his life is about to end at the hands of some terrifying demon, and he goes through all his regrets, not yet having dated a girl or become the hero he was destined to become. Just then, the monster is covered in ice and Luo can't believe he is still alive. Rong is the one that saved him and she instantly wants to know where the ink brush is that they gave him. She is furious to hear that he gave it away and lets out her anger by freezing the demon. She finishes it off and Luo falls in love all over again. They return to the thrift shop and Luo can't believe that someone is transforming ink brushes into monstrous puppets. Mr. Y explains that the monsters are created by a top-notch Hu brush, which can only be countered by the coreless ink brush that they gave him. He can't believe that Luo just gave it away and explains that he wouldn't be alive right now if Rong didn't just show up to save him. Luo is quick to point out that they lied to him about everything and the old man says that he lied to protect him. Y explains that Luo is just an average Joe so he should just try his best to ignore what he has seen and live a normal life. Luo is incredibly insulted to hear this and points out that he was the one when saved Rong from Husuge the other day. Luo refuses to walk away from trouble when he has these new superpowers, so Mr. Y tells him to wait on making his decision till after he hears everything. Mr. Y then tells a story about an unknown scribe called the Burial Owner to make lived in a time who people burnt books and ended the lives of scholars. It was a time of chaos, and this man watched scholars being buried by bitter hatred. He swore not to let talent be wasted and developed a method to gather the spirits of these scholars into ink brushes. These would be called the brush spirits. The spirit inside Luo's brush is named Li Bai. This person was known as the King of Poems, so Luo wonders if that makes him the king of all brush rangers. The only problem, though, is that this green lotus ink brush inside Luo is not the complete one. It's just a vestige. Just then, Mr. Y springs into action and attacks the one behind Luo. This man is named Lai and he just came to see the man that injured Huge. Luo is completely lost and Rong simply explains that this is the man that's trying to take his life. He is chief of the Huge family, so he is not to be underestimated. Rong tries to attack him, but this only puts her in danger. Our brave protagonist tries to protect her, but Mr. Y has to do it instead. The old men fight as Lai states that the 7 dukes of City Guan are his. Rong explains that those are the 7 superior, long-lost, brush spirits made by the Burial Owner, including the Green Lotus brush. Lai wants to take the Green Lotus brush to split the ink brush from the host. To do this, he will have to eliminate the host, and that is Luo. A look at where the red-dressed lady was reveals a bunch of frantic guards screaming that the ink brush library has just been robbed. They want to capture the thief, but this lady is long gone. The fight between old men continues, but Mr. Y is in really bad shape. Ron tells Luo to run and they will stall Lai for a while. Things get really bad as Lai is about to finish off Mr. Y, but Luo once again shows his lightning-quick reflexes and uses his new immense power to save him. Lai is amazed to see the vestige inside Luo in action, but Mr. Y tells Luo that he doesn't stand a chance against Lai. Luo says that he can't back down either, but soon finds himself at the mercy of Li. Li prepares to end his life, but Mr. Y sacrifices himself to save Luo. Mr. Y managed to do just enough damage to force Li to retreat, but Li states that they won't be able to protect Luo for long. Thankfully, the 2 guys are okay, but Mr. Y explains that this is only Li's clone, and there are many dangers ahead. They have to quickly learn how to split the brush spirit from Luo's body, but first Luo should learn how to control it. That way he can protect himself in case anything bad happens to them. Luo refuses to let them risk their lives for him anymore, but Mr. Y points out that it was his fault that Luo got into this mess, so it's his job to protect him. Luo says that he will agree to learn how to control the brush spirit, but only if it means that he can not only protect himself, but them too. Mr. Y agrees to train him, but he needs time to recover, so Ron volunteers to tutor him instead. Mr. Y allows it, and Luo is just glad to see that Ron might not hate him as much as he thought. Later, Luo returns to school and gets plenty of attention for having Ron next to him. Ron takes him to a library and explains that Luo will have to memorize all the poetry Li Bai wrote. Of course, Luo dreads this as it's just like Chinese ancient civilization class all over again. He points out how stressed out she looks and tries to tell her a joke, but he misses really badly. Just then, Zeng arrives reciting poems like a jerk and introduces himself to Ron. Zeng then mocks Luo relentlessly and gets Luo so flustered that he can't even think straight. Zeng assumes that Ron is just with him out of pity. He explains that Luo was a troublemaker who almost got kicked out of school, so he urges her to stay away from him. Other students begin to join in on the insults, but Ron has heard enough. She points out that Zhang is just acting tough and he should learn how to humble himself. Luo is amazed to see that she stood up for him and she takes his hand as they leave. Everyone is surprised to see this, but this Du Zhang thinks she is just playing hard to get with him. A little later, Luo is still amazed and he wonders if this is what love is. He explains that he can visualize all the poems in his head, but he can't quite understand what they mean. Ron explains that different scholars transform into different spirits, and normally they choose someone in sync with them in nature. However, sometimes they just choose any host that is stupid like him. That's why it can't bring out the best in it. The nosy Zhang has been listening to this whole time and wonders if the ink brushes are real. He thinks that if he can get his hands on one with his talent, he could become famous. But that's where this video ends, as this anime has just started to air. If you want to see more of this series, just let me know by liking the video and also mentioning in the comment section. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.